am a former professional ballet dancer, a licensed physical therapist, and I've been to many, many medical conferences with medical professionals treating dancers. I can tell you what are the best, most effective ways to stretch without hurting yourself. You need to protect your ligaments when you stretch. And a lot of what I see with videos online with beautiful young dancers showing how they stretch, their body is in horrible alignment. In my body alignment video, I talk about the plumb line, and their body is like over to the side like a typewriter, and then their legs up by their ear. That's not a beautiful position. That's not a position that is of classical dance. So maintaining proper alignment of the torso and the standing leg. Oh my God, I can't tell you the pictures that have come up at my medical meetings with a dancer with a very high extension and the standing leg, I'll use dancer terminology, totally turned in with the knee pushing inward medially. I mean, it's just like you'll see medical professionals just gasp in horror because that's a knee injury waiting to happen. And you can't do anything with that. You can't do a proper promenade in that position. Your point work is going to be horrible if you try to turn in a tour a la séquence. You won't be able to do anything with it. So I'm going to give you my best hints as far as and tips for stretching effectively and cues to think about in order to get your leg higher with better alignment. I know what I say is going to contradict a lot of what you see on the internet, but that's why I'm doing this video, because there's a lot of improper technique and awkward technique out there that I think is just damaging. So I'm not a spring chicken. I'm going to give it my best try. I'm including a couple of pictures of myself when I was younger, both when I was about 18 years old and again at 40 years old, to show, yes, I had really good extension and I know of what I speak. So let me start with what I see online as far as how to get your leg up in a la séquence. So usually there's no attention to the standing leg. So I'm going to go ahead and let it come inward because that's what I see most of the time. It's not turned out. So already we're in a bad position. The standing leg is not properly turned out. They start with a passe, and then their cue is to get your leg higher, you need to lift your knee as high as possible and then put the foot up here. And here's what I see. The knee comes up, and then I'm supposed to get my knee up. So they do this with their body. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but they'll shift their body to the opposite side to get the knee up, and then they'll extend the foot. Now, again, I'm not a spring chicken. I could get my leg up a lot higher by doing that type of compensation years ago, but still that's pretty darn high for a woman my age. All right, so that is improper technique. The body over there to get the leg up, you can't turn, you can't do a proper tour a la séquence in any which way without proper body alignment and proper leg alignment. The problem with putting the knee up first is the motion becomes disjointed. Even if I were to turn out the standing leg, I did passe, knee, usually the elbow drops when you bring the knee up, that's another compensation, foot. It's disjointed. If I want to point to something, my finger, I want to point upward, I'm pointing there. I don't say, okay, I'm going to put my elbow up and then the finger. It doesn't make any sense. So this is the cue I would use instead of knee getting higher. And there was a study recently at an IADAMS and International Association of Dance Medicine and Science conference, the last one I went to, exactly on this. They put receptors on dancers' bodies, electrical receptors, to look at muscle activity. The dancers that they told get your knee as high as possible and then extend the foot, the muscle activity was overloading in the side of the hip joint, causing impingement. When they gave the cue, instead of thinking about knee high and then extending, try to put your foot up to the ceiling. You're just going to concentrate on your foot. The leg, measuring this, was as high as it was before when they did the study, However, all the impingement and the overfiring at the hip joint itself was diminished. So there was much less improper muscle activity going on when a dancer thought more about the foot than elevating the knee first. And this is from an evidence-based study. So this is not hypothetical, and this is what I feel. This is science-based. So if you want to get your foot up to the side, instead of thinking knee, if you want your foot going up there, say, okay, foot, I want you there. Foot there. Even if I do it slowly, it's a continuous movement instead of doing this weird hinge. So think about the foot, and that goes for développé front, développé back. The foot leads the motion. And if you think about that, you'll have less trauma at the hip joint and the motion will be much more fluid. And use the turnout. You should be turning out like a book at the hip joint and then maintaining that equal turnout at both hips, standing leg as well, when you're doing your développé. Do not compensate by turning in the leg. That won't get you anywhere. So foot and hand stretches are great if you maintain proper trunk alignment, so you're not letting your trunk over to the side to get the leg up or leaning back when you're to the front. And once you get your leg to the highest point with really good alignment and your standing leg turned out, let go and hold it there for 10 seconds. And practice keeping your leg where you've pulled it to without letting it drop. By practicing that, your leg will get to know, like, okay, I can get up there and I'll be able to hold it so that when you do a développé, boom, you just have to go to that same spot. So plant the standing leg, remember equal turnout, both legs at the hips. When you do the foot hand stretch, you go to the side, and frequently I'll see this, dancers pulling up their leg and my trunk is completely unstable. Keep your back tall, okay? So I'm light grip here, and I'm pulling up as far as I can. For me, that's as far as I can go now. I'm planting my standing foot with 5 toes on the ground for good stability. I'm maintaining turnout in both feet, and then I let go and I hold it for 10 seconds. The hand and heel stretch, you not only can hold it to the side, but to the front as well. And the compensation I see to the front with the hand and heel stretch, let me show it here, is that people lean back to get the leg up. So be sure when you're standing, doing that stretch, that your back is maintaining stability as you're lifting the foot up, and then you let it go and hold for 10 seconds to the front as well. So second split, for extension to the side. When you stretch in second split, frequently I'll see this and arch over to the side. If you really want to get a high extension, you want to try to lay your body down flat on the leg. So I'm going to go over as flat as possible. Instead of arching the back, I'm keeping a straight line as I go over to the side. And you want to hold there for about 20 to 30 seconds breathing, and don't let the other leg turn in. Keep the turnout because that's your standing foot, right? Breathe. And you can come off the stretch a little bit and try to go down a little further over the 30-second hold. But maintain the turnout on the opposite leg. That's super important. When you do the splits to the front, my back knee should be straight. It's been a while. So I'm going to fold over flat. So I shouldn't be hunching my back over here. I'm flattening out the spine to stretch. Again, at least a 30-second hold. Again, I should have a straight back knee and it turned out, but that time has passed. Okay, so that's for splits. And then as well, you could do the hand heel stretch here on your back. So again, you don't want to let your foot sickle. You keep a good alignment here. Keep your hips on the floor and you can stretch to the front. and to the side, keeping the turnout of the standing leg. All right, so you can do the heel hand stretch here. And then another thing you could do is grand battement, as high as you can, 16 front, and then turning to the side. You can do both sides. Keep the turnout both legs as you do the grand battements, as high as you can, 16, 16. If the standing leg turns in, that's not going to help you any. So make sure you maintain turnout. If you notice a hip snap while you're doing this, readjust your leg. Make sure it's straight out to the side. Make sure that the standing or the moving leg is turned out. So both legs, hips are turned out. And adjust the position of the leg. The leg might be too far to the back or too far to the front. If you're in a neutral position and swing the leg up and down, there shouldn't be any snapping. So if you're feeling a snap, it's a positional thing. You need to reposition yourself, get out of it, go back into it. Make sure you're engaging your hip rotator muscles in order to maintain the turnout and proper alignment. Getting a higher extension with better technique takes time and patience and diligence. You can't do this once a week, couple grand battements here, splits once a week, and expect to see results. It has to be every day, even outside of class. In the past, I had to do a choreography when I was about 15 years old that required a lot of développé à la seconde on point. And my extension was okay. My leg was about here, but I wanted really high legs when I did those développés. So on top of ballet class and all the rehearsals and the point classes and the variations classes, before I went to bed, I would do 16 grand battements front on my back and then 16 on the side, on my sides. And then I would fall asleep. And over time, it took months, but my extension improved greatly. So there's no compensating in ballet. There's no cheats. The cheats only get you into trouble. Pay attention to your standing leg now. Don't let yourself turn in and let it go. The more you do that, the more you'll falter with your technique. Make the decision today. I'm not going to compensate anymore. With my back, my trunk's going to be stable and my standing leg is going to be stable. And then stretch hand and heel, or however you're doing it from there. Développé, same thing. There's no compensations, especially with arabesque. Everyone turns in that standing leg. Don't do it. Start now reforming your technique and you will see the results with time. You've got to be a little patient, but it will come.